watching India Today Global with me, Ishita Mitra. Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has now spoken out for the first time since her ouster from the country, and she has hinted at the potential role of the United States in her removal. She said, and I quote, "I resigned to avoid witnessing further violence. They aim to seize power over the dead bodies of students, but I prevented that by resigning." Hasina also clarified that she could have remained in power if she had surrendered the sovereignty of St. Martin Island and allowed America to hold sway over the Bay of Bengal. Remember, these are big statements. So far, any role of external power was ruled out. But now Sheikh Hasina herself has suggested about the potential role of the US in the way situation has unfolded in Bangladesh. So addressing the student protesters, Hasina also said that she never called the protesting students Razakars and that her words were twisted to incite violence in the country. Remember, Hasina resigned on August 5th amid escalating protests by students who were demanding an end to the controversial quota system for government jobs. But when violence got out of control, she fled Dhaka in a military aircraft and landed in India, where she continues to stay as of now. When we talk about Bangladesh, an interim government led by the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus has been established to oversee the transition and prepare for early elections. And if you look at the recent developments in the country, a fresh set of protests and rallies took place in the country with minorities demanding protection amid attacks on temples and their houses and businesses. On the political front, if you see, Syed Rifat has been sworn in as the new Chief Justice of the country. And this comes after the previous Chief Justice Obaidul Hassan resigned along with 5 other judges. Meanwhile, Assam police is on high alert along the Indo-Bangladesh border, and this to ensure that no person can enter the Indian state illegally in the view of unrest growing in Bangladesh. Meanwhile, Indian Navy, Coast Guard and Odisha Marine Police are also maintaining a 3-tier security system along the state's coastline. And also Odisha's minister has said that there have been no reports of Bangladeshi entering the coastal state via sea route. Now, these are the recent developments that have took place in the country. Now, joining us from the ground is Ashutosh Mishra. He is present in Dhaka. So, Ashutosh, please tell us, has the violence subsided in the country, or are we still witnessing attacks against Hindu community?
It takes a minimum presence of a government. Now, there is an interim government. What it takes to maintain a law and order, a policing agency, but virtually everything remains disappeared. When the police stations are attacked, even right behind me is the police headquarters of Dhaka, which is virtually, deserted, has become a ghost town, except one or few senior officials. It is now protected by the army. The army, which is supposed to protect their borders, are actually protecting the police headquarters. Right behind me also you see the policemen are also carrying out a protest, and they demanding restoration of their services which were terminated during Sheikh Hasina regime. So these are the current situation. Eventually on the roads, it is the youth, students who are not going to colleges, universities. So since because of that they are managing the traffic situation, and kind of that chaos, there is virtually a question in the future of Bangladesh, and that remains quite uncertainty, and uncertainty can never be growth, economic growth or the prosperity for any nation. The interim government has started functioning. Rounds of meetings are being done with the various stakeholders, but with regards to major policy decision, which is nearly impossible without a presence of a full-fledged government. So what looks like a priority of this regime is to carry out election as soon as possible, restore the normalcy, let the people begin their life, and most importantly to protect your civilians, protect your citizens, specifically the minorities who are under the concern and apprehension ever since the violent attack started on them from 5th of August.
All right. Well, I get it. That's the situation on the ground. My second question for you is that since the government has been formed now, so how soon can we move towards normalcy? How is the situation looking up?
Well, things are literally escalating in certain areas. For example, yesterday in Gopalganj, where the army convoy were attacked, more than 5 to 6 army personals were injured. So this is going literally on another way, where the miscreants are even attacking the army personals. Now already we know that there are no police virtually presence in those areas. So when such escalation happens, that also raises the question that how the situation is going to be restored. There are several leaders of the Awami League who are still underground. As we know, However, there is one relief is that for last 48 hours we are not hearing any major reports of the minorities being targeted, their temples being targeted. So situation is coming down to the normalcy. But the magnitude of this violence and attack can only be unearthed only by the full-fledged investigation, which can be only done by a proper presence of a government. But virtually there is no government that exists except one interim government. So a lot of it's taking to restore the normalcy, the law and order situation, only then proper investigation. There is also apprehension that will the current situation lead to the overpowering extremists in this nation and eventually change the identity of a Bangla speaking nation to Islamist nation. There are apprehension, people are concerned, but largely there is one thing that I'm hearing, that there is a brotherhood, there is a harmony with the people in this country, which will continue to prevail no matter what it takes.
Well, thank you, Ashutosh, for speaking to us. We'll be coming back to you for more updates on Bangladesh crisis. Stay tuned to India Today Global for more such updates.